It is 9:30, time for a little sports talk here locally. KCIM Sports Rewind on the air with Sports Director Jeff Blankman. Casey Miner is just rolling in the door. Well, nice timing, man.
Yeah, I was running a little behind this morning, but we're here.
All right, yeah, we're here. We're prepared.
This is 2 weeks in a row.
Hey, at least it wasn't as late last time. I just walked in the doors, John's going on the air, so it's got to be perfect.
This is kind of like high school for me. I was rolling right in there. I was like, hey, I beat the bell. I'm here. I'm good. Yeah. So Casey's here. I'm here. And, of course, we got baseball, softball playoffs starting here real soon. We're going to be talking about that coming up here in a few more minutes. We're going to start today, though, with a great fundraiser that happens up in Wall Lake for the East Sac County Raiders. Jeff, Pink Out Night up there has been just a phenomenon and has been done so well by the Raiders. It just continues to be a huge event.
Yeah, it does. It's probably the best run. It means a lot to Steve, like it does everybody that does it. But, Steve has really poured his heart into this for 15 years, I think it is, and his teams have always poured their heart into it, and they just do it different up there. And tonight they get to do Pink Out. Hopefully the weather will hold out. I know if you look at the weather forecast, there's some pretty good chances of rain throughout the day today, but hopefully the weather will hold out and we can get the game in.
Yeah, Steve Nutzman on the phone with us here from East Sac County once again. Steve, a lot of years for doing the Pink Out. The enthusiasm just never seems to wane for this, does it?
No, it doesn't. It's something the girls talk about right away at the start of the season. And, guys, thanks for having me this morning. Just to let you know, Jeff and John and Casey, with the way the weather looks and us, this is a full-day deal for us. We're going to move Pink Out to Friday. We've picked up Ridgeview, and we're just afraid of the weather today, and I certainly don't want to see it get washed out. So we're going to move it to Friday, same events and stuff like that, but we picked up Ridgeview, and we're going to try to make it happen then. And I know, Jeff, you had to schedule the broadcast, and that messes you up a little bit, but I don't trust the weather right now.
You're breaking a little bit of news here with Jeff. He had sure seen his face as you said it's going to be Friday, and you were like, whoa, wait, what? So...
Yeah, Steve, what time so I can get things rescheduled as well. Handle the business right here on the air.
It happened really fast this morning, guys, because when I got back from Glidden last night, I worked the field up and everything last night, and then we got poured on again, and it doesn't look good for this afternoon. And we usually start in about an hour, starting putting stuff out and decorations, and it just doesn't look good. So we had a game lined up with Ridgeview for Friday. We picked up, and they're willing to do this, so we're going to move it to Friday at 5:30. Everything is the same, except we're going from today to Friday.
So you mentioned it's kind of an all-day deal, Steve. So give us the rundown of what's going to happen now on Friday.
So the girls will come in, and we'll start getting our posters up and our decorations, and I'll buy pizza for them. We'll have lunch there at the ballpark, and we'll start doing all our decorating, and they'll start painting themselves up, and then I'll mix up our pink chalk with my secret formula, as you know, and it just takes a good day to get everything prepped and set up their displays. Each class has a different raffle item they put together in a basket with a different theme, and then all the businesses donate stuff that we raffle off. And it's just been very successful for us to do that. But it just takes a while for it to set up, and I'm just afraid if we get it all set up today and it's all sitting outside, it's going to get ruined.
Steve, I know when you and I chatted yesterday for our weekly interview that's on our podcast, you had mentioned that, and it'll probably ring true Friday as well. Any cancer survivors that even aren't on the list of throwing out the first pitch, if they come and want to throw out, they're more than welcome to jump into that line that's going to develop on Friday evening. That's
correct, Jeff. I might have a list of 12, but if we end up throwing 20, I could care less. This is all about them. I think it's one of the biggest events that we've had. With it is the cancer survivors' first pitch. It's great for the families. It's great for the survivors. It's bonding with both teams and the survivors. And we're going to kind of do something a little bit different this year. We all been affected by cancer, and it's hit me personally a lot. I lost my mom in January, and my daughter-in-law's had it, and now another one of my close friends was just diagnosed with it. And it just seems like every day you wonder, when am I next? And so this year, we're not teaming up with Sac County Relay for Life. This is strictly East Sac County softball, and everything we do is going to go to Loring Hospital. And, we're so fortunate here in rural Iowa, St. Anthony's and Carroll and Loring and Sac City, that we have places that we can go get treatment that's close by, that doesn't put a lot of stress on family members to help get them there. And and to have great quality medical care. And so we felt this year we wanted to give back to that community, so that's what we're going to do.
You know, a lot of schools still have their pink out nights, and it's a great event, but you guys seem to have just an extra special night. What's been the secret to keeping things going and keeping the enthusiasm alive for it, Steve?
I think, John, the response from the community and the businesses, the girls feed off that, and they don't want to see it go away. And they kind of feed off me a little bit. They know how important it is to me, not just because of my family, but because of everybody. I mean, it just involves there. This is something that's a common bond with anybody. I don't care what town you're from, what state you're from. Everybody has to deal with this, and I think that's meant a lot. And the girls get to see this, and they know that they're helping somebody out, and it really means a lot to them.
I know that Jeff Blankman appreciates the pork chops.
The pork chops on a stick that you guys used to have. Yeah,
that it was always one of the amazing things that he had that night.
Yeah, the food will be great. Speed Herring's on board again from Cookies. He's been with me all 15 years. I just talked to him again the other day. He's on board again. We're going to have pulled pork sandwiches. I know the gals are going to have like pink malts and other pink cookies, stuff like that in the concession stand. You won't go away hungry, I guarantee you that. Free will offering, that we're not going to charge a gate fee to get in, so that way you can spend more money on raffles and food. And we just hope that everybody comes out and has a good time. The weather cooperates with us. And, Jeff, sorry about the quick notice, but I just kind of finished it up when we went on air, so I didn't get a chance to give you a heads up.
Not a problem at all, Steve. I'm just glad that it's a perfect place to announce it, because this is where I would have announced it first anyway.
Okay, that's awesome. You guys are so great. John, you asked me about what makes it so successful. You guys are so great about promoting it and covering it, and then the pictures you put on your website. The girls just feed off of that. And, it shows them that people do care and that this is spreading out among the community. So kudos to you guys, too, for being a great partner.
Well, we do appreciate that, Steve. Thank you so much. But again, give us a rundown tomorrow night. We're going to wrap things up here. Give us a rundown of when people need to be there and what's going to happen.
Yep, we'll start at 5:30 with JV. The raffles will be set up, food will set up, and that'll go on through the JV game. And about second inning of the varsity game, we'll start drawing winners, and we'll do that through the end of the varsity game. And hopefully by the end of the night, everybody's had a great night.
All right, Steve, thanks so much for coming on. We appreciate it, man, and good luck with everything happening now Friday night, not tonight. And thanks for breaking the news here on Rewind for us.
Hey, guys, thanks for having me. Have a great day.
All right, Steve Nutzman once again from East Sac County softball, rather. And again, that's one of those events out there that
it is.
Everybody has a pink out night, but nobody quite does it like East Sac County softball.
Yeah, and you could hear it in Steve's voice, what it means to him, and you talk to the girls up there and the amount of time that they put in raising money and finding things to auction off and everything. It's a very special event up there, and we enjoy getting to go up every year. So
yeah, on all that goodwill, I kind of hate to drag the show down, but I'm going to have to. I think I have something that we need to talk about here.
Okay.
Jeff Blankman, Casey Miners, you two are no longer my favorite people. I got to kind of throw it out there. Jeff Honnold is now my favorite person out there for KCIM Sports Rewind. And, until you guys do something to redeem yourself, no bad-mouthing Jeff Honnold from here on out.
Yeah, I was going to say, I never felt I could feel so low.
It comes around. And I was at the Merchants game the other night, and Honnold was up. He's kind of delivering beverages and stuff. And I yelled at him. I said, hey, grab me one on the way back. And he did. So, he just went to the top of my list right there. So.
Yeah. Thanks, Jeff. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Next time, deliver one all the way up to my house.
He would probably do it.
He probably would. So.
All right. So now that I've got that out of the way, yesterday it was funny. I was texting you, Jeff, and Casey, you might know this. Bobby Bonilla Day. Does that mean anything to you?
Yeah. Is there a way I can get that kind of a deal here?
No kidding. Do you guys know the origin of that?
I'm not exactly for sure the story behind it. I just know that he was signing a big contract, and they kind of spread it out for a long, long time.
Actually, it's a little bit different different than that. I think that he was owed like $6 million as a bonus by the New York Mets. They didn't want to pay it. They didn't want to front all that money. They must have had some financial issues, something like that. So they worked out this deal where they were just going to pay him like $1 million a year for the next 25 years. This thing goes till 2035, or 2035, excuse me.
Yeah.
Every July 1st, Bobby Bonilla still, to this day,
makes $1 million.
$1.1 million from the Mets, man. That's maybe the greatest agent in the history of sports.
Yeah, I was going to say, I might be able to live on that.
Kind of saw the same thing happen with Shohei Ohtani when he went to the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Deferred a lot of his money.
He's only making $2 million a year, but in like 20 years, it'll be $68 million per year when he's long off on baseball.
Right.
Which is ridiculous.
It is. Yeah, it's crazy with the amount of money that athletes are starting to make. Well, we got 4 quarterbacks in the NFL now making over $50 million a year. So
you look at it this way, though. I mean, a lot of athletes go broke, after they retire because they don't have that income.
Yep.
Well, now Shohei's like, well, I'm going to have an income now that as soon as I retire, so I don't have to worry about, money and where it's coming from.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't blame him. I mean, it was a great deal for him. California's suing the Dodgers right now because they're like, wait a minute, there's taxes that have to be paid on some of this stuff, and by deferring all of this, they're not quite sure how that figures out with state income taxes and things like that. So
they'll tax the $68 million in 20 years when they pay him.
Possibly. You never know. There might be a way around. They might rework it by then. So that's why the state is kind of stepping in there. So that leads into the trivia question for the day. Real simple, this one. Who are the division leaders in baseball?
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Brewers, Yankees.
Everybody's been so focused on local sports.
Cleveland.
Yeah. In the National League, you already mentioned the Brewers.
Let's
Dodgers.
Okay, let's do American League first.
Okay,
American League East.
Yep, that would be the Yankees.
Yep.
Central is Cleveland.
Actually, it's a tie.
Okay.
It's Baltimore?
It's Baltimore tied them now?
Okay.
Yep, they are tied for the lead in the American League East. American League Central.
Cleveland.
How about the American League West?
It's the Mariners, right?
Yeah. The Seattle Mariners.
Okay.
That one surprised me.
But Houston's back in that hunt, right?
No, I didn't look that part up. But just, Mariners are leading there. Let's go to the National League East. Who's leading there?
Phillies.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
Philadelphia Phillies playing at the Cubs later on tonight. So how about the Central? Brewers and out west?
Dodgers.
And the Dodgers. There you go.
Yeah.
So
I would have not known the AL West or the NL East. Those would have been the two that I'd have.
Philadelphia's got like the best record in baseball right now.
I know, but I haven't paid a whole lot of attention to the NL East. My team's in the Central, and I haven't paid a lot of attention to the East.
Everybody knows Cleveland is ahead of the American League Central, but how good they have been is shocking.
Yeah.
Yes. Especially with a first-time manager. Stephen Vogt's never coached or managed before.
Yeah, and I love the fact that the Royals are in the hunt in the Central. That to me makes it a lot of fun. Yeah,
good young team.
Yeah, they've got starting pitching, but they just don't have a bullpen.
Right,
and the offense is a little suspected sometimes. But they've blown a lot of leads.
They have. I had a Fairweather fan friend of mine the other day that told me, he goes, I've been watching a lot of the Royals until they started to lose. Now that they're not in the hunt anymore, he says, I've quit watching them. I says, well, you may want to start watching again because they're back in the hunt.
Yeah, Bobby Witt Jr. is one of those guys you pay to go see.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
He is really, really fun. Like Royce Lewis from the Twins. He's just been electric. Other thing I wanted to mention here before we get into local sports here, and we'll take a break and then get into local baseball and softball and things like that. Realignment. It happened yesterday. All of the division changes going on, and now 4 new teams in the Big 12. So get used to a completely different TV schedule coming up.
Yeah, same thing with the Big 10. You had the Pac-12 schools from there join in, and then I didn't, you didn't hear much about the Big 10 and Big 12 teams moving in, but did you know the SEC threw celebrations for both Texas and Oklahoma? They threw like large
big parties,
celebrations to welcome in Texas and Oklahoma.
The SEC network was down at both locations and everything.
Yeah, they had a big drone display up over Austin, the big Texas Longhorn logo, but drones, really super cool stuff. But how are they really going to do? As Texas and Oklahoma, they're going to have immediate success and fade, or do you think they're going to be continued powers?
If you look at tradition, most teams have come in and done fairly well right away. But they've faded, partially because
Texas A&M, prime example.
Right, yeah, Missouri, in the SEC, I think part of that is because you have to change your recruiting base once you go into a new conference. But if you look at over the history, not many teams that have changed conferences have had great success for an extended period of time. So I would imagine both will struggle. The difference could be for those two, they're both in recruiting hotbeds, so they've been recruiting at the national level. The difference will be is whether they've been recruiting SEC type players because of the difference in the way the game's played in the two conferences.
And I think that both teams have had, more success historically than I would say what an A&M and what a Missouri did when they came in.
Right.
I remember Missouri, their second year in the league playing for an SEC championship with James Franklin at quarterback.
Yep. They come off having a run at the end of their time in the Big 12, but prior to that hadn't really been a Big 12 power.
So who does better, Texas or Oklahoma in the long run?
I think Texas right now.
Year one, I think Texas will do better. Me being a Texas fan, I said 9 wins going in because I think, that A&M game at the end of the year is going to be a tough one. You're renewing a long-time rivalry that hasn't been played in a long time, and you're going to the 12th man.
And you just stole their baseball coach.
How about the new Big 12? They got 4 teams moving in: Arizona, Arizona State, Colorado, Utah. Which one of those 4 does the best?
Utah, because they know how to play defense.
Yeah. Utah clearly, to me, is the best of the
Pretty simple, right? Simple
reason
there for
Kyle Whittingham. What he's done at Utah is crazy.
Yeah, and I'm not a Colorado fan. Growing up as a Nebraska fan, there's always been kind of I'm just going to say it, a hatred for Colorado, and it's not even a Deion Sanders thing. It's just a Colorado thing. But I still
do you see Deion being there 5 years?
I don't see him being there 5 years. I wouldn't be surprised that shortly after his kids are gone that he ends up jumping somewhere else. But they've got so much talent there that if they put it together, it'll be interesting to see what they can do.
Last 2 years, they've taken in the most kids out of the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Are they going to be Big 12 champions?
No, I don't see
think
that.
They will. I don't think they will, but I think they'll be better than they were last year. I think Colorado will be a bowl team this year. I do.
How about of the remaining Big 12 teams, the original Big 12 teams that are there? Who's going to be fighting for that championship?
K-State.
I think
we're talking football here.
Yeah, I think K-State would be a good pick.
Yeah, Okie State probably will be up there because they traditionally are.
Well, when you bring back the Doak Walker Award winner, Ollie Gordon, had a great season last year.
Got arrested yesterday.
I saw that, yeah. But Alan Bowman's back at quarterback for him. Not an impressive quarterback, but when you got a guy that led you to a Big 12 championship game appearance last year and has experience in the Big 12, it's a good thing. And you got a running back that can, probably going to rush for close to 2,000 yards again this year. It's going to help you a lot.
And it'll be interesting to see what Matt Campbell does at Iowa State.
4 new teams in the Big 10. You got USC, UCLA, Washington, Oregon. Did you say Oregon?
Oregon to me should be. I'm not saying they win it because Ohio State might be one of the best teams talent-wise ever to step on a college football field this year. They spent a ton of money in NIL to buy a team that can win a national championship. But Oregon comes in, I think, the most prepared to be successful in the Big Ten and have a chance to push Ohio State for that top spot in the league.
Yeah, I think Dylan Gabriel's my early favorite for the Heisman.
Yeah.
He's had a really good year. He had a really good year at Oklahoma back-to-back years, and I think Oregon's going to be something to mess with. I wouldn't be surprised if Oregon's one of those teams playing for not even a Big Ten but a national championship at the end of the year.
They physically will be able to handle, I think, the Big Ten style of play, where I think the other teams will struggle at that a little bit.
Tell you what, there's going to be some great matchups. When you see USC going to the Big House or the Horseshoe and some of those, and even Penn State, it's going to be some fun television.
There's 1 week in football where
Lord knows I'm not going to buy a ticket. It would be too expensive.
There's 1 week in the upcoming season where Texas has Oklahoma, Oregon goes to Ohio State, Penn State has USC, Ole Miss has LSU, and I think Tennessee has Alabama or something like that, so that's going to make for a great week of football.
Well, the interesting, you spring up Oklahoma, Texas. I was watching a little bit of the SEC Network yesterday. One of the conversations, and I know we need to roll on, but one of the conversations they had is the Texas-Oklahoma game now the biggest rivalry in the SEC? Does it take over for the Alabama-Auburn Iron Bowl game? Is Texas-Oklahoma now the number one rivalry in the SEC?
I wouldn't think so. I would almost put that Texas A&M and Texas, as soon as that gets renewed, might be a little bit bigger. But I think I don't know if you touch the Iron Bowl. Just the moments and the memories that come from the Iron Bowl. I don't know if you can.
As a Texas guy, I'm surprised you say that though, because of all the things that have come out of the Texas-Oklahoma game over the years.
Yeah, but to be fair, the more of the great memories that have come out of the Texas-Oklahoma game and the Cotton Bowl has been on the Oklahoma side.
That's good. Well, yeah, that's probably why you don't think it.
Since I physically remember sitting down watching football, Texas has won one national. They have won one national championship. That was in 2005.
Right.
We played for another one in 2009, and we haven't been very good since then. Besides, this last season, and then we had a 10-win season under Tom Herman.
Right, but traditionally, how good has Auburn been? Really, they had the national title under Cam Newton, but for the most part, they've been a middle of the pack SEC team as well.
It's still the heart of the SEC is Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, right. And that's where the true SEC is.
Everybody forgets about Georgia, Florida. That used to be a huge rivalry too in the SEC.
Well, they call that the world's largest cocktail party.
Yes,
I wouldn't be surprised if you're talking 5-10 years from now with Oklahoma, Texas, when people get used to them being in the SEC, that wouldn't be one of the bigger rivalries. But I think the Iron Bowl right now has still got to be the best.
It's going to be fun going forward. There's going to be some great ball games. Whether you like realignment or not, you got to give it that. There's going to be some really interesting matchups this year, and just as you get used to it, it's going to be a lot of fun, I think. Anyway, so we got more on KCIM Sports Rewind. Got baseball playoffs beginning Saturday, softball playoffs beginning Monday. We're going to get a preview of all that coming up.
As the athletes at your house prepare for hard work and fun of the season, remember that St. Anthony Rehab Services provides physical therapy for any sports injury that may sideline your member of the team. Sports injuries can plague kids of all ages and keep them from playing the sport they love. Athletes will be under the direct supervision of a certified and licensed healthcare professional in the newly renovated sports performance facility. If an injury is keeping your athlete out of the game, call St. Anthony Rehabilitation Services at 794-5000 for sports injury and treatment rehab.
This is KCIM Sports Rewind. It's Jeff Blankman, Sports Director, Assistant Sports Director Casey Miners, and me, John Ryan. And you guys are about to get slammed.
Yeah.
Games galore coming up.
Yeah, postseason getting underway starting on Saturday. And actually, the sad thing to say is things will slow down because we won't have both softball and baseball going on the same nights. So as busy as we'll be, it'll be less busy than what we are during the regular season. But I do want to let everybody know the current changes that we are aware of to tonight's local sports schedule. We'll get the website updated after the show here. Kind of hard to do while we're all talking on the air. But in baseball tonight, the Kemper-Lewis Central game that was scheduled for 1 o'clock this afternoon, postponed and rescheduled until 2 o'clock tomorrow. The Carroll home game tonight with Gilbert, that has been postponed and rescheduled till 10 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So Merchants Park's going to get
10 o'clock tomorrow morning?
Tomorrow morning, sorry, yes. Merchants Park's going to get wore out tomorrow because you got Carroll High at 10, you got Kemper at 2, and then you got a Merchants home game tomorrow night. So it's going to be like state tournament day. There's going to be 3 games played on that field. In softball, the Carroll High home game tonight, has been postponed until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, and the ESAC Glidden-Ralston game canceled technically because ESAC now going to be playing Ridgeview on Friday for their pink-out night. So the Glidden-Ralston ESAC softball game tonight canceled. ESAC now going to host their pink-out night coming up Friday again against Ridgeview.
So there's the changes that are going to go on.
I will send a text out once the show is over and start collecting any other postponements and cancellations from any of the coaches and ADs. But do want to announce a couple other things here real quick before we start talking about the playoffs. Congratulations. We know him as Pastor Ron Rasmussen down at IKM Manning for softball. He is going to be receiving the Iowa Girls Coaches Association Service Award for his unwavering support, service, and dedication to all of the IKM Manning programs, athletes, and coaches. This will be part of the Iowa Girls Coaches Athletic Association's big softball tournament that they host up in Waukee for the top softball players, and that'll be on, again, July the 27th. So that'll be a part of the Hall of Fame ceremony and everything they do there. So congratulations goes out to him. And before we talk playoffs, we have our top 5 that we didn't do last week.
Oh, yeah, the top 5
if you
softball.
Want to throw on the sounder
All
real
right.
quick.
Now, on with the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Nobody counts him down like KCIM did. In fact, Casey coming back from beyond.
Yes. Well, we have him every Sunday, right?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Reliving those 70s hits, man.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so where are we at? In no particular order, right?
No order at all.
Because they don't want to be held to anything responsible, you guys, right?
No.
Okay.
No, absolutely. So I'll start and I'll read off the top couple here. Casey Peter of the Kemper Knights has been absolutely fantastic so far this season. So has Parker Adams of the Carroll Tigers back behind the plate. Those two have been terrific, as has the rest of our list, Casey.
Yeah, and this is top softball players, that have had a great season so far this year. Jeff said Casey and Parker, and we also had Jamie Pierce on there from East Sac County. I mean, the power numbers she was able to put up at the beginning of the year were ridiculous. I remember talking about her, a single away from the cycle earlier this year, had a home run, a triple in that double in there, and then you also throw Riley Miller in there, who's been probably the most dominant pitcher in the area. This season's well over, I think probably 140 more strikeouts than she does walks now.
Yeah, she's been really, really good all year long, and then Jordan Porsche, her counterpart, the catcher for them, has been fantastic behind the plate and at the plate.
It's been their best bat at the plate so far this year.
And it's tough. I tell you what, we dug through a lot of kids, and there was a lot of kids debated that could have easily been in the top 5, but that's our top 5 up until last week. We were going to announce this last week, and then just did baseball only. So
all right, it's time.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
It's because Jeff Honnold is my new friend.
I just was going to say, he's listening because he already sent a text, and you just made his day.
The big house, from the outhouse to the big house.
Yes.
He's going there. So
yeah, he'll end up back in the outhouse.
So let's talk about the playoffs here, and I think we need appropriate music for this. It's going to be you guys driving all over the state trying to cover all this stuff.
The Benny Hill theme,
Little yakety sax.
Yes.
I mean, Blankman heading one direction, Casey, you heading the other, Brinks heading covering something else, our East Coast correspondent.
Yes. It's going to be crazy busy, and everything gets underway on Saturday. We'll have 2 double headers for you on Saturday. Casey gets to drive over to Woodbine, Class 1A District 3. This is baseball, of course. He'll have Glidden Ralston taking on Loma. That one will start at 5 o'clock. Pregame coverage will start at around 4:45 or so, 4:50, and then Audubon against Woodbine in the second game of that one. Those games are going to be here on KCIM. In Class 1A District 4, ICAM Manning takes on Exira Kimmel. The Wolves just beat them last week 3-1, so anticipating that being a very good game. That'll be down at Coon Rapids. I'll have that doubleheader for you on 93.7 K Carroll. First game, again, coverage going to start around 4:45, 4:50 with first pitch at 5 o'clock. And then the second game of that doubleheader is Coon Rapids Bayard hosting AHST Avoca Walnut. Again, and that one is scheduled to start at 7 o'clock. Usually starts later than that. Class 1A District 4 as well. Arweva goes up to Woodbury Central. The other broadcast game we're going to have, Class 2A District 14. Nick Brinks is going to be up there on Kick 106.7. It'll be the first game of a doubleheader. We're only doing the first game. That's the only local team we have. South Central Calhoun taking on Southeast Valley. Those games are going to be played in Pocahontas. And then the other playoff game on Saturday that we will not be able to get to is Class 2A District 16, and that is East Sac County at Missouri Valley.
So that's the Saturday night baseball schedule. Real quick, let's hit the Monday softball schedule.
You bet. Class 1A Region 3. You've got Glidden Ralston hosting Colonesco. Nick Brinks will have that game here on KCIM. That's a 5 o'clock start, so pregame at around 4:50. Arweva going to Coon Rapids Bayard. I'll have that on 93.7 KKRL. That's a 7 o'clock start. Pregame coverage at about 6:50. ICAM Manning at Caminita also in that region. In Class 2A Region 2 matchup of 2 conference teams. East Sac County going to be hosting Altarulla. Casey Miners will have that on Kick 106.7. Again, pregame at around 6:50 with first pitch at 7 o'clock. And Class 2A Region 4 is South Central Calhoun at Panorama. And then we're back to baseball on Tuesday next week, softball on Wednesday, softball on Thursday as Carroll High opens up against Bishop Heelan up at Riverside Park. I'll have that game on Kick. And then Carroll baseball opens up next Friday down at Harlan. That'll be the second game down there, 7 o'clock the start time, and I'll have that game on Kick 106. 106.7.
And again, if you want to follow along with all the baseball, softball playoffs, it can be hard sometimes, but when you have the mobile app, pretty darn easy. You guys make it super easy on there. Tell us how to get that.
Yeah, just go ahead and go to your App Store or Google Play and simply search CB Sports Network, and you can pull it up. It's a free download, and then you can check out the sports schedule. And, of course, we keep that as updated as we possibly can.
So you're telling me I don't have to pay for that, so I can download it for free? Because I don't have it yet?
What's that?
I don't have to pay for the app, so I can finally get it?
Yeah, it is a free app. I keep forgetting that
he writes about half the stuff on there,
and he doesn't even have it. Yes.
Yeah, that's probably something you should have. I'm thinking there. So again, the video and stuff like that. We're done with the playoffs, right? They can't video the playoffs.
Yeah, cannot video the playoffs. Well, we could. It would just cost an awful lot of money. And the tough thing is finding internet access and stuff. People don't realize that you got to have good internet access where you go, and there's not very many places besides here in town that offer the good internet for us and stuff. So it's difficult to be able to, and then you got to find somebody to run the camera and everything else. So it's not always as easy as what it seems. A lot of people reach out and want stuff videoed all the time, and it just doesn't work out. So.
Yeah, that's just not possible this time of year. There's so many things going on and so many different places to hit that it's just unpredictable at best. So, all right, guys, thanks so much. Good luck with the playoffs coming up on Saturday and more. Coach, keep checking the schedule. There's always events that are going to be postponed, and so maybe for tonight with the rain expected, but keep checking 1380 KCIM for their website and all the sports mobile app, CB Sports Network in your app store.